Well, here we are at almost the end of another week. It's Thursday morning here. Like usual, we've taken, one step forward and 2 or 3 steps backwards. I'll explain that in a second. Had several other things to do this week, which is why I haven't been making videos. We'll start off with last weekend. I think for starters, we had a really, really nice trip. I don't know, less than 100 nautical miles from here to a place where that was built by an Australian icon, and he invited us to his place, to our aero club, to his place. And it was absolutely fabulous. But the most fabulous part was the trip over. The trip over and the trip back were absolutely dead smooth. Absolutely, really, really some of the best flying I've done on this side of the country. And that says a fair bit, because I fly a fair bit. I fly fairly often. So that was fabulous, absolutely fabulous. Then I had a couple of things non-aviation related for the next few days. We had some rain, which for us is a big deal. That'll get the farmers happy and get their winter crops growing. They grow all winter and then they harvest them before Christmas. But I came out here on Friday to look at one particular part of my Renegade, my Roadtech Renegade. Had a look, and all it was a look. Didn't have to touch anything. Right, I can do what I was thinking of doing. Came back Sunday afternoon and have a look at this. If you can see it along here, yep, that's the paintwork. We've got a fuel leak. This, probably from this point right here, which is where this bow contacts the rear spar, that's where I expected the wing to leak. I actually expected a fuel leak in that vicinity, because it's a real Mickey Mouse way of doing the connection of that bow to the rear spar. This has been sitting here with fuel in it for probably the last, I don't know, at least 4 weeks, maybe 6. Or maybe more. It's had fuel in it since the engine run way back. And it decided to leak last weekend, somewhere between Friday afternoon and Sunday afternoon. The tanks have been defueled now. Both tanks have been defueled. This wing's going to come back off again. I will clean it again on the inside, and I'll slosh it again. But this is not where it was leaking from when I had to slosh last time. It's now leaking from here, somewhere. It looks like it's from there, running down here, meeting this little riblet, running down the riblet and underneath it, which is what that horrible looking part is there. But no fuel actually dripped out. So this was, not really serious. It would have been a lot more serious if I hadn't caught it when I did. I will eventually repaint this wing, but I'm not going to repaint it before I fly. I'm going to fix the leak, and then we're going to fly it. Maybe we'll consider fixing it towards the end of winter, or whenever I get finished with the test flight program. So that's a bugger. That was a bit of a setback, which I didn't really need. But anyhow, let's play on. Let's not give up at this point. Today's episode will be pretty much focused in the other hangar. I want to continue with the little 2-stroke engine. It probably means having a couple of components made, so I'll go down to the engineering shop shortly and with some drawings and get them to make some some special tooling for me and some other special fitments. It is an absolutely fabulous day today, fabulous day. Let's have a look. I know you like this part. There's the day. Clear skies. Right the way around, 360 degrees. Can you see the windsock? Very little wind. Absolutely fabulous. So I will try and get some formal test flying done on Rosie's aeroplane. Probably after I take the engineering bits down to the workshop, get them to make these couple of parts for me. The RV's covered in bugs. That's one of the problems of living in a rural area. You get bugs all over the place, especially on the leading edge. You can't see down that way. My balaclavas turned up. They might be a bit too thick to fit inside my helmet. We'll give that a go later on. Yeah, look at the windscreen on the RV. It's covered in bugs as well. But yeah, that's the thing. When it rains, all the bugs hatch, and then you wind up with your aeroplane covered in bugs. But anyway, that's where we are. I'll show you around. I haven't progressed anything in the other hangar, but I'll show you if there's anything to look at in there. Yeah, well, here we are at the end of another exciting week. I lost a couple of days in the start of the week. We've had all sorts of things going on. I've been working on the two-stroke engine for this Renegade. Here's kind of where I'm up to. Right. This is an engine of really unknown origins. It's supposed to be a Blue Head 582, and let's see how we go with that, whether it is or not. It just happened to have the trailer plug option, so if you're ever going to tow a trailer with your Renegade, it's all ready, set up, indicators and everything else ready to go. So I basically chopped its wires off, and worked out from the other engine. This is the original engine out of this Renegade. It had a little problem where, I'll try and explain it, and hopefully you never ever have this problem. This thing here, which attaches to the flywheel, or to the, I guess it's the rotor of the generator. I don't really know what it's called. It's a fabricated thing. It's not just a simple piece of metal. It's kind of a simple piece of metal, but then it has this shroud thing over the top of it. And as near as I can figure, a piece of shroud about that long, which I can't account for, came off for whatever reason, scarpered around inside the case here. I'll take you. So the piece that came off scarpered around here and put these gouges in the case, and they go right the way around. Obviously getting mangled as it went, and what I think it's done is it's moved the centre line of the crankshaft ever so slightly off one way or the other. I don't trust it. I don't trust it for a second, but that's what I think it's done. It's only a few thousandths of an inch or a few tenths of a millimetre probably, but that's what I don't trust it. That's what I think has happened. This is not in the centre, which is a big problem. So it's nearly time to get the engine rebuilt anyhow. So I will get this, hopefully get this rebuilt, and get them to the place that rebuilds it should be able to either straighten the crankshaft or, if necessary, replace the crankshaft. But in the meantime, I'll leave you down there. Yeah, in the meantime, I want to use this engine in this aeroplane. So I've worked out which wire's which. These are the two connections that go to the aeroplane. I don't know what yours looks like. I've got 4 of these little engines, and all 4 have a different method of connection to the aeroplane. I've decided, because the aeroplane's already wired in this configuration, I would change the wiring. Well, I've got a trailer plug, I had to change the wiring. And so this should just plug and play. These will be covered with some heat shrink and stuff. I haven't finished this job yet. Don't panic when you look at it. Yes, it'll look pretty horrible. And hopefully it's a short-term stopgap, unless it works. If it works, well, then it'll obviously be a long-term stopgap. So came the next problem. I think I already explained this earlier in the video. The engine that came out of this aeroplane has 4 studs like this. Where are we? Like this, in the bottom, that goes into those 4 holes, and there's 2 holes over this side, one there, one there. Well, those studs don't fit. Now, what I could do is just drill out the mounting plate on the airframe. Then, of course, the engine that I do want to put back in when I get it rebuilt, it won't fit. So I approached the local, I don't have a lathe, so I approached the local engineering shop. This is the size that does fit. Yeah. And this is the size that fits the airframe. This one. So all they got to do is get a couple of bolts, turn one end down and rethread it so that it's this thread here. There's always something, always something. So that's what I've been doing. I've swapped the everything else over onto this engine. I don't know if this engine's going to be any good or not. I really don't. We will find out together. That'll be a little voyage of discovery for us. May work, may not. Let's see what next week brings. Yeah, all right. So that's where we are here. Rosie's aeroplane. I haven't mentioned Rosie's aeroplane yet. It's going along, getting there. I've flew it a couple of times during the week. Yeah, so nothing really spectacular to report. It does everything that it's meant to do and does it really quite well. I was thinking about flying it this afternoon, but I gave it a miss. We've got a Victor Air Tour. Anybody from Australia will know Victor make lawnmowers. Well, they used to make aeroplanes as well. It was a manufacturing company that made a little aeroplane called an Air Tourer, which is aerobatic and probably about the size of an RV, maybe a little bit junkier than that, but not to put too fine a point on it. We've got a rally for those aeroplanes here in Temora this weekend, and they were arriving this afternoon. So I thought I don't want to go out and mix it with them. I don't know how you guys get on, but with the open cockpit, I have a hell of a time on the radio trying to make myself understood. I can hear what's going on. That's not that side of it's not too bad, but the transmissions, because you're in the airflow, and I actually thought about a throat mic at one stage of the game, but I don't even know if you can still get them. But I'm not all that happy with what I've got. I've got a new system that I need to try, which is basically making a directional microphone that's directly at my mouth. There wasn't anybody to talk to yesterday when I went for a fly, so I didn't get the opportunity to try it. But that's where we are. I think you're up to date on... Oh, no, we're not. No, we're not. This afternoon, just before I came over after lunch, before I came back into the hangar, I got an email from Civil Aviation, and they've agreed to increase my gross weight on the Renegade, the Rotec Renegade. So now I've got my noise, whatever they call it, noise to operate without a noise certificate or something. It's called something that only the public service could come up with. I've got that. I've now got the weight. My registration will say the new gross weight, which is 500 kilos. The next step is the certificate of airworthiness. The certificate of airworthiness I have to apply for it. I pay my $560, and then Civil Aviation send a person out to inspect the aeroplane. Hopefully that should happen within the next couple of weeks, except for the stupid fuel leak that I got the other day. I gave it some thought this afternoon. I can either go through and get the inspection done now, but I don't think I will. I think I'll just take that one wing off, clean it, re-slosh it, put it back on again, then ask for the certificate of airworthiness. And then we don't have any options but to fly it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So that's it. Have a really good weekend. Get your feet off the ground if you can. You know the rules. Yeah, maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. I've been flying a lot this last couple of weeks. But like I said, I'm a greedy pig, and I'll do it. Somebody's got to do it. All right, have a good weekend. See you next week. Bye now.